Hello everyone, it's Karen and welcome to another video. Today we're going to do another album review. Now, this is the second of an anniversary album reviews that I have been doing in the space of a few days. I did Bruce Springsteen just a few days ago. But today we're going to be doing an album that celebrates its 20th anniversary today. Now, I don't talk about modern music too much, but I wanted to do a video on this album. And that is The Killers and their debut album, Hot Fuss, which was released 20 years ago today. So in this video, I'm just going to a bit of background about the band and about the album, show you my copies of the album, go over each track, and give the album as a whole a marking out of 10. So, The Killers' Hot Fuss was their debut album, released on the 7th of June in 2004 in the UK, and in America it was released a few days later on the 15th of June. And The Killers had been a band that were going about in various clubs throughout Las Vegas, kind of like the idea and Brandon Flowers and Dave Ewing were kind of, I think, hanging out. And then got Mark Stoneman on bass and Ronnie Vannucci on the drums. So the band were playing in quite a lot of small clubs around Las Vegas, which was where they're based. And then they would get together in the drummer Ronnie Vannucci's garage to work on song ideas. They would also sneak into the band room at the University of Nevada in Las Vegas at night to practice. And this is where Ronnie Vannucci was studying classical percussion. It was around about the time of this period when they were doing all this that they wrote much of their material for what would result in the Hot Fuss album. And they continued to play at small venues around their hometown. They were often playing Sunday night at this transgender bar called Sasha's that later became known as Tramps. And they caught the attention of Braden Merrick, who was an A&R rep for Warner Brothers Records. And he'd come across their demo on a website to unsigned bands in the Las Vegas area. And when he went to see one of their live shows, he offered to help the band find a record deal, and eventually he became their manager for a period. He then took the band to the San Francisco area, to Berkeley, California, and it was there that they recorded demos with a guy called Jeff Saltzman, who was the former manager for Green Day. And they sent the demo tapes out to major record labels in the US, and they began to record. They recorded the album in the Hair Studios in Berkeley, California, and they recorded at the Cornerstone Recording Studios in Los Angeles, with Jeff kind of producing and engineering the record. They were invited to perform at a number of showcases, but they were ultimately not signed. But they did, however, catch the eye of Alex Gilbert, who was an A&R representative in the United Kingdom. He took the demo with him back to the UK, and he showed it to his friend Ben Durling, who worked at a newly formed independent record label called Lizard King Records in London. Although he didn't get to meet the band in person at the time, he liked what he heard, from what I read, and he offered the band a deal based on the strength of this demo. And they signed this deal in July of 2003. So The Killers continued to record the album in Los Angeles, and also recorded a track in Dave Ewing's apartment, the guitar player. And they continued to record the album until November of 2003. And they decided to keep a number of the previously recorded demos, as they felt there was a spontaneity to these that the re-recordings would maybe not have. And when they came to the UK, they'd done, one of the tracks had been issued and premiered on the radio, which we'll touch upon when we get into it. And so they then got a lot of publicity around about the UK from this song, and a number of major labels in America began to show interest in the band, and they signed to Island's Def Jam label. And after they completed the album in November of 2003, they did a support tour with a band called the British Sea Power on their UK tour. And they also worked with Alan Moulder at Aiden Studios and Townhouse Studios in London, and he mixed the tracks for this album. And they also had, in the first half of 2004, had support slots for opening. They would be the opening acts for people like Morrissey and Stellar Start in both the US and UK. And they had their first headline UK tour, which was in the May of 2004, just before the album came out. And for the spring and summer of 2004, they had festival sets in Europe and America, in all corners throughout the summer of 2004. And so that was the album. And when it came out, it was well received, both publicly and commercially. It initially reached at number 6 in the UK in June of 2004. But then by the January of 2005, the album reached number 1 and stayed there for 2 weeks. And in America, it reached number 7. So a very well received album, we'll say. And it's definitely a great sounding album of the 2000s. So yeah, I'm going to show my copies of the album before I go any further. We'll start with the CD. This was my first copy of the album. I found this in a charity shop many years ago when I was becoming like a Killers fan. I got this back in 2014, so 10 years ago now. And there's the original sticker there. The #1 album includes the hits Somebody Told Me, All These Things That I Have Done, and Mr. Brightside. There's the sticker. There's the back. The cover's quite cool. It's like I think I read somewhere that this was a picture taken in somewhere in China, I think. And you can see because it's got all like the wee sort of emblems on top of the buildings all kind of lit up. The back, songs. There's the disc. It's a bit hard to see, but here it is. And it comes with the booklet. And pictures of the band there. There's Brandon Flowers, he's the lead singer. There's Mark Stormer on the bass. That's them filming, I think they're filming a music video here. There's Dave Kuhn on guitar. And there's Ronnie Vannucci on the drums. Information about all the band and whatnot. And the track information. So is that one. And I've also got another copy. I think this is an original copy because it's on the Lizard King label. But then it's on... I got this one. This is my dad's copy. This is one he gave to me. And it's on the Vertigo label. So this might be a later copy of the Hot Fuss album. But anyway. Now we're going over the vinyl. Now this is not an original pressing of the vinyl. The original vinyl pressing was a limited edition run of 2,500 copies on blue vinyl. This is just a standard black pressing. But this is a 2016 reissue that I found in Sainsbury's in Irvine a few years ago. So got it here. There's the inner sleeve. That's a better. There's a full face of Brandon Flowers there, whereas it was cut on the CD booklet. And this copy's on Island Records, which was the American label, as I say. One side you get it white, and the other side is red and white. So, kind of switched about the colours of this album. Okay, so brings us now to the album's tracks. So we start off with Jenny Was a Friend of Mine. Jenny Was a Friend of Mine is a good track, one that I quite like. The song's written in the key of E flat minor, and it's told from the point of view of a boy who has been taken in for question about the murder of a girl named Jenny. And the song provides no resolution to the crime, and it is never clarified if the boy is guilty for it. But it's a part of the Killers alleged murder trilogy, detailing the song Murder of a Girl Named Jenny, which a band named The Killers. Yeah, definitely. But this is one that was positively received by critics, this one. And I like the song, it's good. But it's not a favourite of mine, but it's a good song, one that I do like. And the song has been played live by the Killers quite a number of times, but they've often changed the lines to some of the songs. She couldn't scream while I held her throat. And it's to give it a more sinister feel to the song, but the line is originally, she couldn't scream while I held her close. So, but anyway, not a bad song. Jenny Was a Friend of Mine, but not one that I would probably consider playing outside of this album, but not bad. This is where things really pick up. Then we get Mr. Brightside, and what a tune this is. I love the guitar starts the song, and it's one of those distinctive intros where as soon as you know it, as soon as you hear the guitar intro, you right away know what it is. But this song broke the Killers in Britain, as I say. In August of 2003, excuse me, on the 19th of August 2003 to be exact, it was premiered on Zane Lau's Radio 1 show in the UK, and this gave them a lot of publicity with this song. It didn't though chart as a single when issued in 2003, in September of 2003, but by June of 2004 it reached number 10. So, and this is a song, one of the many songs that many people remember of the Killers. I love the drums and the guitar, and it's one of those sort of up songs. It's one that the Killers always play in concert whenever you go and see them live, and it's one that's a big favourite of many, and it's regarded as one of those great songs. And to this day, Mr. Brightside has been on the UK charts since its release. It was named Song of the Decade by UK radio stations, by Absolute XM and Absolute Radio, and it's the most third most streamed song on Spotify from the 2000s. And that's how much of an impact it's had, the song. And in America, though, Mr. Brightside peaked at number 40, but eventually reached top 10 in June of 2005. So it's just one of those songs that it still gets played today. And this year in May, it overtook Oasis's Wonderwall to become the UK's most successful song of all time that hadn't reached number 1. So, great song, Mr. Brightside, and it's one that I love to this day. No matter how many times I hear the song, I still love that track. Then we get Smile Like You Mean It. Smile Like You Mean It was the 4th and last single from the album, released in March of 2005. And by the May of 2005, it had reached number 11. I like the way the guitar starts off quite quietly, and then the keyboard comes in, and then it kicks in, and that's where the song kind of starts. I like the vocal performance to it. This was a song that Brandon did say, the Killers said that this was written in 8 minutes, pretty much. Brandon Flowers says that the song, the line "Looking Back, the sun sets on the east side" refers to the east side of Las Vegas. So, Smile Like You Mean It's a good song, but yeah, great one that I like quite a bit. And one time, I was in the car with a friend, we were travelling up somewhere, and he thought that the track sounded like the Smiths. And maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, I don't know, but you know, it's a good song, Smile Like You Mean It, one that I like. I quite like the production to it, and the kind of wee synthesizer, and the guitar and the vocals. So yeah, it all kind of comes together quite good, the song. Then we get Somebody Told Me. Now, this is another one of their big hits and big songs. Somebody Told Me was the 2nd single from the album, released in the March of 2004. It initially charted at number 28, but then it reached number 3 by the following January 2005, when the Killers did, I think, a little UK tour with the Hot Fuss album, kind of in the cat with the Hot Fuss album. So yeah, great one. I like the lyrics as well. Somebody told me you had a boyfriend that looked like a girlfriend. I mean, that's quite a lyric. No one else would come up with something like that. But a great one. I really like the kind of guitar and the beat and the keyboards. Brandon Flowers sings the song great as always. One of the greatest lead singers in any band. You know, Brandon Flowers, one of my favourite lead vocalists. But Somebody Told Me is a really, really good one. One that I really like a lot. And yeah, again, like Mr. Brightside and Smile Like You Mean It, it's one that the Killers still play in concert today. When you go and see their concerts. Now, a little fact about this one. When they first started out, the music was not really noticed by the media and buyers, publics, which is why the record companies released them in slightly different forms. Like with a picture sleeve, the first one was in like a pink background cover, and that's like the rarer version of the two. But then, due to poor sales, not many of them were produced. But then when re-released, the cover art had a blue background, and that's more common of the single. When it peaked at number 51 in America, and then, as I say, the UK was a bit slow, but picked up eventually. It's a really, really good song. I really like that one. Somebody Told Me. Great one. And it's one that they play live a lot to this day, as I say. The NME in 2009 said it was 100 of the greatest tracks of the decade. Absolute Radio said the same as well in 2009. It got a Grammy nomination for Best Rock Song and Best Rock Performance by a duo or group with vocal. And at the International Music Dance Awards in 2005, it received Best Alternate Rock Dance Track. So, got a few nominations in the can, as I say. But, yeah, good song, one I really like a lot. Then we get All These Things That I Have Done. This is a song that pretty much everyone, I think, would know when it comes to the Killers. It's a great one, and it's one that everyone remembers when it comes to the Killers, and it's got, I like the great vocals, great lyrics. Some of the lyrics are great, especially the chorus. Yeah, you know, you gotta help me out. Yeah, don't you put me in the back burner. That's great vocals, and even during the song near the end when there's the guitar bit goes like that, it has the lines, I got soul but I'm not a soldier, which I think that's, people kind of remember that those lines, and that's where the song comes. When they may not know the actual song, but they do know those lines because they've probably heard it. Now, All These Things That I Have Done was the third single from the album, released in the August of 2004, and it reached number 18. Bit of a low number, but anyhow, still a great song. It's one that everyone really remembers when it comes to the Killers, this song, and it's become a staple in their concerts, as I say. Become the third most frequently played of all songs, after maybe Human, which came later. Brandon Flowers said that during one of their band's first trips to the UK for the NME Awards, Noel Gallagher came backstage and he said he worked out how to play all these things that I had done. And it was so surreal because less than a year before, Brandon had been sitting on his bed with a guitar without a record deal trying to work out Oasis tracks. Because Oasis were kind of an influence on the Killers, and they're another band I like from that sort of 90s, 2000s era. Even though I might not like many of the acts, there are some acts I do quite like from that era, even though most of it's kind of like from the 50s, 60s on somewhat. But anyway, really, really good song. I really like that one, All These Things That I Have Done. Then we have, and that's kind of like those sort of 4 tracks in a row were all hit singles, so you can't go wrong with an album like this, can you? No, definitely not. Then we get Andy, You're a Star. Good song. I quite like it. One that it's okay, it's good, but it's not one I would consider playing outside the album, as I say. But still not a bad track. Andy, You're a Star. I kind of listened to it again to refresh my mind, and it's good. It's good. Then we have On Top. On Top is a good song. Quite like this one as well. Don't know that well, but it's one that I need to listen to a bit more. Glamorous Indie Rock and Roll. I do quite like this one, Glamorous Indie Rock and Roll. Good song. This one was only ever issued as a promotional single, but still a good song. It's one that Brandon Flowers cited in an interview with Rolling Stone in September 2009 that it's his least favourite Killers song, stating that hearing the song makes him want to crawl under a rock. But however, when they did a comeback concert at London Scala in 2011, they played the song since they'd done the Sam's Town tour, which was their next record, and they also done it at their headlining act at the Hard Rock Column in Hyde Park, London, in the following day in 2011. So, played quite a bit. In America, it did number 13 in the US Pop 100. Sorry, number 71 in the US Pop 100 in Billboard. Digital song sales in 62, and number 13 in bubbling under Hot 100 singles. So they did okay, not bad, given that it was never a generic single, but it was included on a bonus track on the vinyl and European editions of Hot Fuss originally. This one, I think, is the standard CD track listed. Glamorous Indie Rock and Roll was switched with another song called Change Your Mind. I don't know that one, but I'm only just going to go over the UK track listing and what's on here, and even my CD copies of the UK versions. But I don't know the track that it was featured in the American edition, Change Your Mind. I'll need to try and hear that one. Believe Me, Natalie. Believe Me, Natalie is a good song, one that I quite like. Quite like the guitar and all the music to it. It's really, really... Quite like the production as well with these songs as well. So yeah, not bad. Believe Me, Natalie, quite like that track. Midnight Show's a really great one. I really like Midnight Show. That's one I really like quite a lot. Quite a bit, actually. Then the final track on the side on the album is Everything Will Be Alright. Now this was not to be recorded. This was not recorded at Berkeley or Los Angeles. This was done in Dave Kuhn's apartment and was produced by Brandon Flowers. And Brandon does a not bad job of the producing. I quite like the music to it and the lyrics and that. It's quite a good song. So yeah, not a bad track to close the album with, I think. So yeah, pretty good. So that's me going over the Killers' Hot Fuss album. Sorry it was a bit long and a bit short. I didn't have much to really dwell on, but still not bad. Really great record. And obviously Killers are one of my favourite bands, and I'm seeing them live in quite soon at the Hydra actually in a few weeks. So yeah, looking forward to that. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed this video. And if you like the Killers in this album, leave a comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe. And the album as a whole gets a 9 out of 10. And it's hard to believe that this album is 20 years old. You know, it's funny when you think of all the time that has passed over the years. They think, really, was that long ago when that came out? You know, like, a lot of people might not believe, but things like the Beatles' Hard Day's Night will be 60 this year, and the Roy Orbison song Pretty Woman will be 60 this year. That's going to get a lot of people who are alive at the time thinking, God, is it that long ago? But to me, I never think of these sort of songs as being that old. I just think of them as good songs, you know. They're modern. They're maybe a bit modern. I would consider them modern in this day and age, but, you know, still good music. And obviously, as I say, Killers are one of my favourite bands. Big fan of them. And I'll be looking forward to seeing their concert quite soon. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. And it's hard to believe that they've been going for 20 years as well. For that amount of time, you know, they've got lots of fans over the years. And they're a big band and one of my favourite modern... Probably my favourite modern band, because I don't like a lot of modern stuff, but The Killers, I would say, are definitely my favourite modern group. So, hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you like The Killers as well, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you again for the next video.